News from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe. This is the Kyssfm SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one-true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, 21st February 2018. I am Javon Liebert and these are your top stories. Nationally, on the move, Dr. Douglas rallied troops to support Honorable Congress Maynard. Internationally, hundreds killed in relentless bombing of East Ghouta. And in sport, Winter Olympics bobsleigh provides platform for black women. These are your top stories for today. Nationally, leader of Her Majesty's Opposition and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, has rallied his supporters across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and have asked them to assemble later today, February 21st, 2018 at midday. During his remarks at the party's town hall meeting last evening, February 20th, Dr. Douglas said that the party and its supporters will march in solidarity with Honourable Congress Maynard, who was reportedly wrongly suspended from Parliament.
The 21st day of February 2018, they have said to Congress that he can't go into the Parliament. We are asking you, the people, to join us and come to Massey's house on Church Street tomorrow as we walk to our Parliament. 12 o'clock. We begin to assemble at 11:45, and we shall go with Congress to the Parliament. We're moving off as we try to go to our Parliament and show that we have a right to be there.
It was at the last sitting of Parliament when Honourable Maynard was suspended by Speaker of the House Honourable Michael Perkins for what Perkins deemed as gross disorderly misconduct. Since then, both Maynard and the Labour Party have penned both personal and public letters highlighting the Speaker's abuse of power and his negligence of the rules and procedures of the House. Maynard argued that the Speaker did not go about the suspension in the manner in which it should have been done. He noted that the Speaker has no power to unilaterally suspend a member of Parliament, but rather it should have been put to the House for a vote. He also stressed that the Speaker wrongly suspended him worse for the period of 10 days as his actions were not against proper parliamentary behaviour and he was never suspended prior. Rumours have since surfaced about Speaker Perkins, alleging that he is in cahoots with the government and is being puppeted by Prime Minister Timothy Harris. Dr. Douglas stated that it is a result of this commitment why Speaker Perkins constantly attempts to muzzle the government, the opposition.
The Speaker is not allowing us a voice. He's not reasoning with us. The Speaker has been instructed by the government not to allow us to speak on behalf of you, the people who sent us to the Parliament of our country.
The Labour Party has expressed their annoyance with Speaker Perkins and have noted that they will tolerate it no more. Infrastructure Minister says he is not aware of who is demolishing Old Scotch building. Honourable Ian Patches Liebert, Minister with responsibility for infrastructure, post, urban development and transport, said he is not aware of who was awarded the contract to demolish the Old Scotch building on Church Street, Bastille. The building, which formerly housed the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis and lately the Department of Consumer Affairs, is reportedly being demolished at a cost of EC $2.5 million. During a radio interview earlier this week, Liebert, who appeared to attempt to dodge the question, said he had no information on who received the contract for the job. He said, "I do not know who the contractors are at this point in time, but I will get that information for you." having been reminded that he was in fact the Minister of Works and a project of this magnitude cannot slip through his fingers, Honorable Liebert replied, "If I tell you I don't know, I don't know. I understand it is being done under a particular ministry, but I have to get that sorted out." The government led by Timothy Harris also reportedly paid EC $100,000 to demolish the building which housed the government printery on Church Street and EC $90,000 to take down the pavilion at the old Sandy Point Recreational Ground. Internationally, Syrian forces backed by Russian warplanes have continued to hit the rebel enclave of eastern Ghouta with at least 27 killed on Wednesday, bringing the number of civilian deaths to more than 270, including 60 children over the past 3 days. The civilians who lost their lives on Wednesday morning were in the town of Kafr Banta, according to Syrian Observatory for Human Rights and Syrian Civil Defense, also known as the White Helmets. More than 300 others have suffered from wounds in one of the most fierce attacks in the area since 2013, when a gas attack killed more than 100 persons. The relentless bombing that Amnesty International said amounted to war crimes has damaged and destroyed 6 hospitals and medical points across the city, residents say. "We stopped comprehending where the bombing is coming from, either from the sky or the ground," Khaled Al-Bofana, an ambulance driver and member of Syrian Civil Defense, told reporters. "We arrive at a site that has been hit and immediately another attack followed. We just ran to pull out as many people as possible before it was too late," the observer said. "Multiple raids hit different areas at the same exact time. We don't have the ability to rush to all the areas at once." Earlier this week, the United Nations and the international bodies expressed outrage at the number of civilian casualties, the uncalled for and immediate stop to the escalation of violence. And in sports, in 2002 at Salt Lake City, 78 years after the first Winter Olympics took place, American Vonnet Flowers achieved something that had never been done before. Flowers, alongside Jill Bakken in the 2-woman bobsleigh, became the first black athlete to win a gold medal at Winter Games. 16 years later at Pyeongchang, and it is in the bobsleigh where black athletes are again setting new benchmarks and proving to be more role models. The Nigerian pair of Sewing Adigun and Akuma Amiagwa may have been the slowest of 20 sleds after Tuesday's first 2 heats, but they became the first women to represent an African nation in the sport. "It was every bit as special as we hoped it would be," Adigun told BBC Sports. "With more time and more preparation and funding, I think we are proving that we can be as competitive as everyone else." For the weather, in today's weather forecast, skies over St. Kitts and Nevis will mostly be cloudy with a high or 70% chance of showers. Tonight will be cloudy with showers. Winds are northeasterly at 16 to 23 miles per hour over land and reaching near 25 miles per hour over coastal waters. Some gusts reaching near gale or 35 miles per hour are also possible. Sea level pressure is at 30.13 inches. A warning remains in effect for small craft operators against hazardous conditions, and seabathers should exercise caution. The sun will set today at 6:15 p.m. That items brings us to the end of Kyssfm's SKN News Now Morning Edition. Now for a recap of this morning's top stories. Thanks for tuning in for another SKN News Now presentation. I've been your presenter, Jarman Liebert. Stay tuned. Carib Update is next.